So I thought I'd talk about where I've been and where I'm going. The year was 1979. I was born in Lufkin. Anyway, skip forward. Up until 2006, I was working, in 2006, I was working a corporate job. I was a director of human resources for a energy trading company. Prior to that, I was a firefighter, an EMT, retail manager. Overall, I had 26 jobs, maybe 25, 26 jobs at that point. Started my first job when I was 15, working for, skip back a little further. Did my first job when I was 14 at a fireworks stand. And then I was 15, I was working for my dad. We mowed the lawns of some fast food restaurants. And then when I was 16, I got my first job at McDonald's, which I think there's a pretty high percentage of people that is their first job. Might even be something like 20%, I don't know. And then after that, I just started worked at a movie theater, blah, blah, blah. And then in 2006, I had a boss that was into real estate investing. So I went to one of the little local real estate investing clubs out in Houston and really got interested. Well, this boss, he provided the funding for that, and I started investing in a couple houses. And that was about the same time that the market was crashing. So still at this point in my life, I didn't really have the idea of being an entrepreneur, didn't really want to own my own business, thought it was too risky, and just really didn't have much care about that. Well, about the same time, my buddy Jeff was wanting to start a business. So I thought about it and okay, yeah, let's start a cleaning company, organically made. Yeah, you like that? And so it was a cleaning company with, I would get off work at 2:30 or 3:30, I forget what time I got off then, and would go get my mom, and we would go and we'd clean houses. Finally, that built up a little bit, and we were able to hire a crew. At that point, my mom kind of took over it, and she was running the day-to-day. So that kind of started me into the, okay, cool, business ownership is neat. Wasn't really making any money. And then also that year, I started a company called Anywhere Car Care. And the idea behind it was to go to people's place of business or to their houses and change their oil. I drove from here and up to Amarillo at the time with who was my father-in-law at the time, Jimmy, and I bought this whole get-up. They installed it in a trailer, and it was this kind of cool device. You just stick it straight into the dipstick tube, and it sucks out the old oil, and then you put the new oil in, after the changing the oil filter and all that good stuff. So got all that. Cool. Anywhere Car Care. Really like the name. Had the trailer, had stickers all over it, and they looked actually really bad. I'm sure I have pictures of them somewhere, but I don't know if I want to see them. And so started that, and actually never changed a single vehicle's oil because Jimmy was going to be running the day-to-day operations of it. And at the time that I started it, or had the idea to start it, he was unemployed. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. And then his job called him back to work, and so everything picked up. And so we went back to there, and I ended up selling all the equipment. I think I paid $12,000 to $15,000 for it, and I sold it for about $10,000. So super loss. Let's see, from there, I got my real estate license, so I became a realtor, and that was going okay. I mainly did it at that time so I could not pay any real estate agent fees whenever I was flipping these properties. Well, also, same year, maybe? I think it was the same year. The company I worked for sold. A lot of times, whenever a company sells to another company, well, the company that's buying them, they already have their own human resources department. And I was pretty much a lone soldier in that company, so they didn't need me to go to the next company. luckily, the company that was buying the building that we were currently working in, they were also an oil company. They needed their human resources company or department started, so I got hired by them. In addition to this, I received a 6-month severance. Initially, the company bosses wanted to give me like a week or 2 weeks severance. You know, it was hurtful. You know, I don't think that people just deserve, you know, should have these expectations of something. But, you know, there were guys that were given year severances and everything like that. And here I was standing side by side with the bosses, assisted with firing so many people, friends, you know, for them to give me like, oh, here you go. I was just like, dude. They're like, well, you got this other job. I was like, well, what if it doesn't work out? So anyway, I ended up getting 6 months severance. So that was cool. Went to work for this new company, and I think maybe I worked there for 2 weeks, and I walked out. The owner and I, you know, they said they wanted a human resources department, but they didn't want a human resources department. They just wanted the idea behind it, and at that time I was like, oh, corporate, yeah, you got to do it this way. And anyway, I'm not that way anymore. So quit there. And I had severance, so I started focusing in on real estate. I did decent. I wouldn't say I was a all-over top producer. I did when I was awarded the highest listing volume and most listings, and that whenever I was really involved with it. So that was my plan. Real estate, cool, making money, meeting people, having fun. Then my eye started twitching, and you know, I had some losses in my personal life, some ups and downs, but still things were going good. So I got I was hiring a real estate photography company to come out and take my pictures. I was like, well, you know, if I do 24 deals this year, the amount that I'd be paying to those photographers, I can just buy my own equipment. So bought my own equipment. And I had shot for a while before that, but nothing high end. I'd definitely never been paid for it. So I had a really nice equipment, Canon Mark III, 14 millimeter. Actually, not that camera that's shooting this, but one that's same model. And bought some other lenses and stuff, and I was like, I'll shoot my own. And then the market wasn't going too great, and so the real estate market. So I was like, I wonder if I can shoot for other people. I wonder if I can offer for them to pay at closing for a little bit more. They can either pay up front for $100, or they can pay at closing for $155, I think it was. So that's what most people were doing. They were paying at closing. Now, if the house didn't sell, I didn't make any money. And after a while, after the market picked up, after being stiffed on numerous shoots, I decided that it was time to just do one price, $99 across the board, and so that is what I went to. I shot for a few agents, not that many, and then you know, as the more that I shot for people, the more they started referring me. At that time, whenever Pro House Photos started, there was really, you know, just a small handful of real estate photography companies. There was a lot of people shooting real estate, but they weren't really real estate photographers. So I like to think that there were 3 of us out there. And so, you know, the referrals started picking up. I would do some blast emails, but it really came from referrals. And then one agent, Melissa Soro, she just started referring us out to everyone. So I'd been running the company solo for about 1.5 years. I was doing all the shoots. I was processing all the photos. My workday would start at about 7 a.m. and then I would finish working at about 2 a.m. At this time, I had one child, Adeline, and so it just really started getting taxing. In addition to that, I decided that I wanted to start another business. So a friend at the time, a friend of mine, at the time I say that because, you know, there's a saying that you never really want to get in business with your friends. And while that's not always true, that was definitely true with this situation. So anyway, he wanted to invest in a company. He didn't want to do any hands-on, just wanted to be silent. So I was like, cool. Came up with this idea after going and shooting at an event, because I used to shoot all kinds of stuff. Now it's just real estate. Occasionally I'll shoot some stuff, but whatever. So I went and shot this event where these kids were playing instruments, and they were rocking out like they were a band. It was they took these classes and they all jammed together, and then they'd go out and they'd play live in front of people. So I was just blown away. I've personally been playing guitar since I was 9, and then I graduated to other instruments since then. And so I was just super blown away. And I was like, this is it. Initially, whenever I was meeting with this guy, we were like, oh, medical. And then I came across this, and I was like, boom. So then was born Rockology Music Academy. It started out great. We had over 400 people to our grand opening. We had a lot of student enrollment, and things were just rocking and rolling. It was awesome. And then the investor wanted to pull out for personal reasons. He didn't want any money back, and this was fully funded by him. At this time I was still doing Pro House Photos, and I wasn't making that much money. I was able to pay my rent, or actually my mortgage, and at that time, but I really didn't have much of anything. So he said he was going to pull out. So we rallied around, me and the employees and the instructors, and really more them started raising money. We had investments from a real close friend, 2 close friends of mine, and actually 3 close friends of mine. They just started pouring money into it, their own personal money. And we were able to float it for 8 months, around 8. And then me and a friend of mine, Jen, went to go to the academy one day, and the locks had been changed. So the original investor, he was the guarantor on the lease, and he, without us knowing, negotiated, which again, without us knowing, but he had full control of this, negotiated with the landlord to terminate the lease. He paid like an extra $80,000 or some crap. And so we go there to just go there, and everything was locked up. So, we had to call all the students and tell them, hey, we're closed. It was done. Luckily, we were able to get in there it was about a month or 2 later, and collect our personal belongings. The investor took all of the instruments and donated them to a church. And, again, it was all his money that was there. We were so stinking close to floating the company on enrollments. Maybe 2 more months and we would have been there. So super devastating. Really upset me. Jumping back just a little bit, so whenever he said that he was pulling out of the company, I knew that I needed to step things up with my income, because I obviously was threatened by not having money to support this company. So I was like, okay, what can I do? So jumped back to Pro House Photos, really started hitting it with Pro House Photos. Brought on a photo processor, my first photographer, Andrew, and then it just started growing. At this point now, there's 10 of us that run Pro House Photos. I have 2 photo processors, 2 administrators, and then the rest photographers. And it's going pretty good. I've got Andrew, a photographer, Michelle, James, David, myself, and then everyone else. That's kind of wrong of me to do it that way. So James, Andrew, Michelle, David, Angie, Valerie, Mary, Candace, me, and Corey. So it takes a decent amount to run what we're doing, and we're only doing I calculated about 0.02% of the Houston market. I'd expanded to Austin at one point, and that plan was just all wrong. So that's been Pro House has been my biggest thing so far. At this point, I have Advantage to Sell, which is a marketing company focused on real estate. We have really it's a one-man show. Since I'm back into real estate, have been for a little bit now. And not only am I doing real estate, the commission that I make, 50% of it's donated back into the community. In Houston, there are still people that are rebuilding from Hurricane Harvey. It's been over a year. And so of our commission that we're donating is going to those that are still rebuilding from Hurricane Harvey, not necessarily nonprofit organizations, to individuals that we deem that, you don't have any other option, which is a lot of people. And then also to animal rescues. I'm in the process of starting a company called the 80-20 Solution. It's the whole idea behind it is the 80-20 rule. And that's also focused in real estate. And what that is that's a virtual service for transaction coordinating, runners, to go pick up keys. This is all for real estate. Go pick up keys, deliver signs, kind of just whatever somebody may need. And then I'm also working on TEDxKaty. That is going to be on November 2nd of this year. Nope, November 3rd. And that's a completely volunteer thing. I don't make any money from it. The idea that I had for that, wanting to do that was, if I can surround myself with these people and get in contact with a whole wide variety of people, then what's that going to do for them? What's that going to do for me? And what can we put out there in the world? So that's definitely a rocky road, because it's not like anything else. So that's just a quick overview of where I've been, where I'm at right now. As far as where I'm going, I don't know. I'm working on, this is episode 1 of this vlog, and I'm not too sure where it's going to go. I want to be a community of entrepreneurs. I'm hoping that people interact with me. I'll get to interact with them. We'll get to grow. And it can be someone in the same industries that I'm already in. I actually have a good friend of mine, Tyler. I met him because he is a real estate photographer. He has his own company, and he hasn't been in it for as long as me, so he came to me asking, hey, can you help me out? And without question, it's like, yeah, of course. Yes, you're a real estate photographer. Again, we have 0.02% of the market, and we have 10 people that work for the company. So there's plenty to go around. There's 38,000 real estate agents in the greater Houston area. Last I checked, it was 38. It's probably more. And so anyway, interactions with others, and then also the accountability. Not only for you all out there to come on and watch and learn, but also for me. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hold myself accountable because I've put it out there, and then hopefully you'll hold me accountable too. I've got some projects that we'll be going through on what I'm doing. I'm super into marketing right now and seeing different ways that I can approach getting business. Again, 38,000 agents in the greater Houston area, and how can I get in there and get their attention versus somebody else? A lot of times real estate is based off referral. I know a slew, I've interacted with over 500 real estate agents, and I would say most of those, their business comes from referrals. Okay, can I do this without really too many referrals? Whenever I was in it before, that's what it was for me, referrals, and then cold calling expired, so we'll talk about that some other time. But now, let me grow this by just marketing. And so, we'll venture along that. And so it's not only stuff that will work for real estate, but also work for other industries as well. And so overall, just, who knows? Who knows where it's all going to go? And I'm just looking forward to it. And this will start being a daily vlog, and we'll just get rocking and rolling. If you have any questions, comments, you can either post them here, or you can email me at my personal email address, jakehoward@gmail.com. You can also find my personal Facebook page, jake_howard@yahoo.com. I'm on Instagram. I don't know what my username is. I'll figure that out. And then the Twitter hasn't been created yet. So I do have a Twitter. It's like Scully Bulb or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And so let me know your challenges that you have out in your industry of the entrepreneurial world. And while I may not have an answer to it, we can talk about it. Someone else can chime in, and let's just get working. Yeah, all the time. Work. It's fun.